All stories are love stories if you love stories. That is a line in this book, and I thought it was quite lovely. Today we're going to talk about The Book Witch by Meg Shaffer. And this book is lovely AF. It's cute, it's cozy, it's sad, it's emotional, it's a freaking roller coaster of emotions, honestly. The first part of it is so delightfully cozy and witchy and wondrous, so let's talk about what a book witch is. Book witches protect works of fiction. So sometimes a character will escape the book, so they have to get the character and get them back into the pages. And then also they defend against these book burners, people who will like go into the book and try to destroy the story or like kidnap the character so they can't finish the story. And then if that story disappears, that book disappears everywhere in the world and no one can experience that anymore. And so the Book Witch is sworn to protect this. But they also have some rules that they have to follow. Like, you cannot eat, drink, or sleep while you're in a story. Kind of like, fairyland. If you do that, you might be stuck there forever. And the longer you're in the pages, like, you can start to forget who you are and why you're there and that you're even in a story. And then you might get stuck there. So you can't stay for super long. And under no circumstances are you allowed to fall in love with any characters that are fictional. Because, well, technically they don't really exist, do they? But they kind of do if you can go into the story and meet them and talk to them. So who knows? Where did these rules come from? I think they evolved over time because people obviously broke them. Some of the loveliness of this is just the different stories that the Book Witch goes into. Rainey March, who is the main character, and she's the Book Witch, she falls in love with the Duke of Chicago. And he's like a Sherlock Holmes-esque solver of mysteries and whatnot. His time frame is like the 1920s. And so they fall in love and they kind of have this affair for about a year in the side margins. And like she has him come out of the stories here and there, but never too long, so no one can catch them. And eventually someone catches them. And it's the Book Witch's boss is Dr. Fanshawe, who's kind of a horrible shrew. And she's Miss No Fun at all for anyone persona. That ends. It's kind of really heart-wrenching for Rainey, but she knows she must persist. She loves her job. She loves what she does. She understands why she shouldn't have done it. She wants to follow the rules. She also tries to live up to like how amazing of a book witch her mother was, because Dr. Fanshawe, the person who runs or the cadre of book witches, is always saying, you'll never live up to how great of a book witch your mother was, and this, that, and the other. And her mother had died when she was a child, so she never really got to know her. And there was this period of time when her mom had disappeared for like a year, and then she came back and she was pregnant with Rainey, and then shortly after that she passed away. So Rainey lives with her grandfather and their housekeeper. Her grandmother had passed away a few years prior, and then her grandfather's like 82, and he's also a book witch, and he still goes out and does book witch stuff, for different things of protecting stories or researching something and this, that, and the other. And so what ends up happening is her grandfather at some point goes out on a mission, but it wasn't one that was on the books. And then she starts to worry because he has disappeared. And her mother, when she passed, had left her one book. And that book was a Nancy Drew book, which was this, I think it was The Secret of the Old Clock. I might have the title slightly wrong, but it's that one. And so she always thought maybe there'd be a hidden message in there, this, that, and the other, and she could never really figure it out. And she's like, well, Nancy Drew didn't have a mom, and so maybe she just wanted me to be strong and, carry on and do great things regardless of the fact that I lost my mother early on and this, that, and the other. So you have like that kind of emotional part to it. So when her grandfather goes missing, at the same time around then, she has her book stolen from her. Like, someone stole her mother's book, and she's like, what the heck? And also it turns out like when her mom died, they took all her like journals and writings and stuff, and they don't think that's like typical for the Book Witch Society to do that. So that was kind of weird. When she tries to figure out where her grandfather has possibly disappeared to, well, she ends up turning to the Duke of Chicago because he is a detective. And so they join back up secretly. Her boss does not know this, and he's going to help her try to find her grandfather and figure out what happened to her mother's book, because that's the only thing she has of her mom's. And so you have like the star-crossed lovers have to work together and fight your emotions. And she's like, we can't touch and no kissing and all this stuff. Rules are meant to be broken in some cases. So anyways, They're on the case, and on this case, they have to jump in and out of strange stories such as The Great Gatsby and Alice in Wonderland, and it's so weird and whimsical, and the characters in these stories brought to life, and then learning about their writers and how the writers, bring them life in the pages of these books, and what happens when the writers pass on, and how the stories live on, and it's such a beautiful, emotional, wonderful book. I would say it's up there in my top reads of the year. I know it's not horror, my typical thing, but I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was so beautiful. I had read one other book by this author, which I really liked, and that was The Lost Story. But this one is even freaking better. It's so good. I have it right up there with The White Octopus Hotel by Alexander Bell, which I also really, really loved. Yeah, so White Octopus Hotel, and then this one, absolute bangers. Maybe there will be a top fantasy video. I'd only planned to do horror. So, we'll see. If any of that sounds good to you, I would highly recommend it. Also, if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.